my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Susan Elrod. Dr. Susan Elrod serves as the 6th Chancellor of Indiana University South Bend. Susan Elrod is an experienced biology professor and university administrator. Throughout her career, she has used an entrepreneurial mindset and shared leadership approach to achieve goals that result in meaningful progress and lasting change. Her leadership and impact here at IU South Bend are no exception. Since 2019, she has led efforts that resulted in enrollment gains, curricular innovations, greater achievement of diversity outcomes, improved fiscal sustainability, improved community engagement, and fundraising success. She is passionate about the mission of IU South Bend to serve its students and serve its community. Prior to serving at IU South Bend, Chancellor Elrod served as a provost, dean, and in various academic leadership positions at public comprehensive universities in the California State University system and the University of Wisconsin system. She is also a national leader in STEM higher education and change leadership, having worked in Washington, D.C. as the director of Project Kaleidoscope at the Association of American Colleges and Universities. She has over 30 publications on topics ranging from undergraduate research to systemic change and leadership, as well as several scientific publications, patents, and books, including the recent publication of Change Leadership Toolkit and her book with colleagues on shared leadership in higher education. She has served as an American Council on Education Fellow and is an elected Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. She is also a member of the Omicron Theta Epsilon Biological Sciences Honor Society. She holds a PhD in genetics from the University of California, Davis, and an undergraduate degree in biological science from California State University, Chico, where she began her leadership career in earnest when she was elected student body president. After completing her PhD, she completed a postdoctoral fellowship at Novozymes Incorporated in Davis, California. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Susan Elrod.
Good evening, everyone. Anybody out there? Good evening, everyone. There we go. I know you're out there. I couldn't be more excited to join you tonight for this inaugural Athletics Hall of Fame event. Tonight, we will celebrate the first inductees into the IU South Bend Athletics Hall of Fame, as well as the presentation of the inaugural Bruce Family Legacy Award. We look forward to a wonderful evening. We've already had a wonderful evening honoring these athletes, the coaches, and donors who have shaped our Titan identity and contributed to the prestige of Indiana University athletics, both on and off the court. For some, it may be your first time back to campus in a while, so we're glad that you're here. I was talking to some folks. Wow, things are different from the 90s, the 80s, the 2000s even. IU South Bend has a long history of athletics, dating back to the South Bend Blue Sox, an All-American Girls Professional Baseball League team that played on what is now campus housing across the river in the old Playland Park in the 1940s and 1950s. If you are curious about that, there is a historical marker near the site that commemorates the Blue Sox team. The first appearance of athletics at IU South Bend was basketball. How many folks do we have in here that are basketball players, coaches? I think we got a big group right in the middle there. So that first basketball team began at the club level in the 1960s. The name Titans was coined in a student government association election in 1969. Through student petition, the basketball club grew to a varsity level team by 1984. The IUSB basketball teams, both men's and women's, joined the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics in 1987. Today, our program is currently comprised of 6 teams: men's and women's basketball, softball, baseball, women's volleyball, and women's soccer, and involves over 100 student athletes, some of whom I know are here tonight. Our athletic programs play an important role in campus life and student success, providing events for the campus and our broader community to attend, but also providing what might be called a high-impact practice for the engagement of our student athletes. Our student athletes are retained and graduate at higher rates than other students and are also high achievers in their academic endeavors. It's an exciting time for Titan Athletics. 2 years ago, our women's basketball team became the first team in any sport in school history to win both the regular season and the conference tournament championship. We can applaud for that. Some of them are in the room right there. That same year, our men's basketball team also celebrated another tournament championship. These dual championships also marked the first time since 2009 that a school in the CCAC conference has won both the men's and women's conference tournament championship. You can clap for that too. Last year, our women made it to the second round of the NAIA National Tournament as well. Baseball also made program history in 2023 by reaching their first ever tournament championship. Our women's softball team ended that same season in conference tournament play as well. Women's volleyball made it to the CCAC quarterfinals last year, and our women's soccer team, the newest sport on campus, debuted in 2019 and just keeps getting better. Titan Athletics also has some new faces on the team. We welcomed Annie Denke as head coach of softball this fall. I know Annie's here somewhere in the room. There we go. And this season marks Callie Topolsky's first as head coach of women's volleyball, and I know Callie is here as well. Perhaps what I'm most proud of is how our athletic success is matched by success in the classroom. This year we had 61 athletes earn CCAC All Academic Team Honors, 5 NAIA Scholar Team Awards, and 17 NAIA Scholar Athletes. I know it's not easy to juggle athletics, academics, personal commitments, but our students are demonstrating every day that it's not only achievable, but it can be done well. And what I say to our student athletes all the time is, you're leaders on campus, and students know who you are because of the jerseys you wear, the gear you wear, and so they are role models, they set the stage, and play a really important part in our campus community. Our student athletes also continue to give back to the community. For example, during the pandemic, they created a virtual library to benefit local children in the school in the South Bend community. They identified a need and during an especially challenging time and responded to that need with a valuable resource. So I've been talking a lot about our student athletes. Why don't we have all of our student athletes who are here with us today stand up and let's give them a round of applause. All of our student athletes. The success of our athletes and our programs would not be possible without our amazing coaches and athletic staff. Where are all of our coaches and athletic staff? I just saw Coach Boozy was just about to take a bite of dinner, but come on, stand up. Where are all our coaches and amazing staff? All right, there they are. We could not do it without you. You make a difference in the lives of our students each day. Their success is your success, and their success would not be possible without your support. I want to extend a special thank you tonight to Steve Bruce, who's right here up front, who helped build IU South Bend Athletics to what it is today as Executive Director of Athletics, and of course to recognize Scott Cooper, our newly named Executive Director of Athletics, who has taken the helm. Lastly, I want to extend a special thank you to all those who support our athletic programs with gifts and time and talent. Gifts such as yours play an important role at IU South Bend, supporting our students on and off the field and court, and in more ways than you can ever imagine. As a student-centered campus, our mission is to empower students to reach their goals so they can advance their lives and the lives of those around them, while also making valuable contributions to our community, local organizations, and businesses in our region, state, nation, and even the world. Your gifts have the power to not only transform student lives, but also families and communities. Now, finally, but certainly not least, to our guests of honor this evening, the first inductees into the IU South Bend Athletics Hall of Fame. Congratulations on this momentous milestone. You should be incredibly proud of your accomplishments, as I know you are, and your families. You have left a legacy for the generations of coaches and student athletes that have and will continue to come after you. So congratulations again to them, and onward to that program where we're going to honor all those honorees. Thanks, and I look forward to a fun rest of the evening.
All right, thank you, Chancellor Elrod. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, Paul Condry. Paul is a man who has dedicated his career to shining a light on student athletes and positively impacting our sports community. Paul Condry is the founder of Regional Radio Sports Network, a company committed to promoting high school and small college athletics throughout northern Indiana. Through their audio and video streaming coverage, Paul and his team have ensured that the stories of countless athletes are heard and celebrated. Paul's work has been instrumental in supporting the growth of local sports, giving athletes, coaches, and programs the recognition they deserve. His passion for education-based athletics and commitment to excellence make him an inspiring figure for all of us. On a more personal note, Paul and his better half, Tanya, who's here tonight as well, are also my neighbors, and I've seen firsthand how their dedication to the community goes far beyond the airwaves. It's an honor to have him here tonight as we celebrate the achievements of IU South Bend's finest. Please join me in welcoming Paul Condry to the stage.
Thanks, Coop. Welcome to the inaugural IUSB Athletics Hall of Fame. I'm Paul Condry, Regional Radio Sports, Indiana Football Digest, and the Indianapolis Colts. Privileged to be here with our distinguished guests, Chancellor Elrod, great to see you again, and of course the Hall of Fame inductees. Thanks to Coop for inviting me to speak today. Anytime I get a chance to talk about the people who changed and saved my life, I am all in. It sure beats being at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Cleveland today too, so thanks very much. Hey, how about Bobby Barnes and that soccer team today, huh? Where are you at, Coach? Back to back, baby. All right. I was telling Tanya earlier today that I see all the athletes here, and especially for the young female athletes here, I'm not used to without your hair back or your jersey on, so I don't know everybody without their jersey numbers. So it's kind of a unique situation I find myself in here today. One of the things I was talking with Coach Bruce earlier today, I wanted to share a little bit about culture. I want to share a little bit about story about coaches. If you were to give me an opportunity to be around one group of people, it would be about coaches. I've had coaches that have changed my life, what they've done throughout the course of my life. They have just literally put me in a position to be successful. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. I got a short time set, so I've kind of reduced this. Long before I put a headset on and decided to follow my lifelong dream into sportscasting and sports writing, I was a coach. It was and still remains one of the most important time frames in my life. I grew up in Holborn, Indiana. Anybody know where that's at? All right, 40 miles just east of Chicago, about 75 miles from here. Go Bricks, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, I was blessed growing up in a blue-collar community, steeped in great athletic tradition. I did my very best to keep that athletic tradition alive in the early 1970s as a student athlete. However, I failed miserably at doing that. So with that being said, despite of my athletic prowess, I did my best to help out when I could. After I got cut from the basketball team, my head basketball coach, Jim Lichtenberger, asked me to stick around. I thought, well, what is this all about? What do you need me here for? So he says, Paul, I want you to come in. I want you to be an extra body at practice. We're going to add you to a staff as a student coach. I'm going to put you in as the first ever director of basketball operations. So we're going to create a new role just for you because we saw something in you. My coaches, Tom Workman, Mo Rohde, Jim Lifke, involved me in everything from scouting to equipment to taping ankles. I was taping ankles before there was such thing as a certified athletic trainer. That'll tell you how far that goes back. When we were down a guy or an injury or an illness, I got to practice with my friends and my teammates. That was awesome. I had the best of both worlds. Coaches meetings, playing ball with my buddies. At our senior banquet, I was recognized by my coaches as our program's most valuable player. My coaches loved me, and I loved them, and they changed my life. Fast forward 5 years later, Coach Workman had just became the head basketball coach, so he hired me to be his 7th grade basketball coach. And I had my own team. In a half a dozen years, we won 3 conference championships, and my student athletes, once they got to be seniors, won 3 of Hobart's 4 state football championships. Something very proud of my boys. Everybody there talked about culture. And I've seen this culture, and I'm going to pick on 2 people here right now because I've known them the longest. But Coach Bruce and Coach Cooper have created an amazing culture for their athletes to succeed. It is amazing. Now I get a chance to go all over the country. I work in the NFL opportunities with my work with the Colts the last 27 years, and these are 2 of the greatest people I've ever been around. You should be fortunate that you have them as your coaches and as mentors. So let's give them a nice round of applause. My favorite people in the world are coaches, as I mentioned before. I would rather be in a group of coaches than any place else in the world. And in this room, there's some good ones. I'm sure that Jerry Jones, Coach Wisniewski, Coop, Steve Bruce, I think everybody here would tell you that a coach has affected their lives at some point in time in a positive manner. Even my buddy Mark Lukashevsky, who's here from Minnesota. Because of social media, I still keep in contact with my student athletes. And you got to keep in mind now that I'm 68, so they're in their 40s and in their 50s, and I even have some of my athletes now have grandchildren. I recently, I wanted to share something personal with you because I recently got I was back and forth with a text message from one of my players, Rick Knight. He's in Tampa. And of course, I was checking in on him last week during the hurricane, and I'm just going to read it to you verbatim. So Rick, who lives just north of Tampa, sent me a text. I was checking on him during the hurricane, and he says, quote, "Coach, thanks for checking in on us. Most of all, thanks for praying for our safety. Words can't describe my gratefulness, and all I can give you is a massive thank you and tons of love back. You helped me when I was young, and you're still helping. You are always going to be a special place in my heart. I love you, Coach." All of our coaches have received those. That's the best part. Today, I coach coaches. I coach sportscasters, sports writers, and sports information directors from my chair at Regional Radio Sports. In my office, Coop's been there, there's a wall with all kinds of plaques, Hall of Fame awards, Lifetime Achievement Awards. I'm grateful for being recognized. 5 Halls of Fame. That's really cool. But what I get more personal satisfaction is that my young proteges, what they are doing. Donnie Smith, who's an IUSB grad, was recently named the last 3 years as the NAIA Sports Information Director of the Year. He just recently accepted a job as the Sports Information Director and works with Rich Rodriguez at Jacksonville State. Dalton Scheller, one of my guys, is now the voice of the Michigan State Spartans. Allie Prigge is the Sports Information Director at Notre Dame. Dante Stanton is the news anchor at ABC. Josh Miller engineered the national championship game and the Super Bowl. Mark Gall worked for the NHL and in the Dallas Stars. And I can go on and on. I'm not blowing a whistle anymore, but I'm still making an impact. That's because I created a culture in my group, just like Coach Bruce and Coach Cooper has done. Two of my guys are doing minor league baseball and Division I sports all over the country. And I have my own team of guys, led by four-time National Sports Writers and Sportscasters Association, Indiana Sportscaster of the Year, Mike Kinisevich. He's a Hall of Famer. I have three rising stars in my camp, J.P. Joubert, Tanner Camp, Ryan Lutz, and a great group of other guys. Every one of our inductees have been affected by a coach somewhere along the way. They would not be here today. I'm going to close with a couple quotes that I'd like for you to take to heart, especially from our athletes' perspective, and as well as our coaches' perspective. Coach each boy or girl, men and women, as if they were your own son or daughter. Eddie Robinson also said, coaching is a profession of love. You can't coach people unless you love them. It's a mighty challenge. So to our coaches here, Dougie, back there, Callie, love them up. They'll never forget it. They'll never forget you. Finally, if you don't think it's important, the legendary evangelist Billy Graham said this: a coach will impact more young people in a year than the average person does in a lifetime. Thanks very much.
First of all, thank you again to Paul. That was great. Now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our first inductee into the IU South Bend Athletics Hall of Fame. Tim Williams' legacy at IU South Bend is one of historic firsts and lasting influence. As the first athlete to earn both NAIA All-American honors and CCAC Player of the Year recognition, he set a new standard for excellence in Titan athletics. Beyond his accomplishments on the court, Tim has spent over 20 years shaping young minds as an educator, now working for the IU system in Indianapolis, mentor, and coach. His dedication to both academics and athletics has left an enduring mark, not only at IU South Bend, but throughout his career in education and community leadership. We are proud to induct him tonight into our inaugural Athletics Hall of Fame. Tim Williams.
They gave me a lapel mic, but I think you guys can hear me without it. I'll use my teacher voice. I didn't have anything planned. I wasn't sure that we were going to have an opportunity to share, but since I'm in front of a mic, I can't pass it up. I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing me with the opportunity and the talents to use and bring my Father, my Heavenly Father, glory. I also want to thank Chancellor Elrod, Coach Cooper, and the IU leadership here at IU South Bend. When I was playing, we didn't get a lot of attention. There's this school down the road that gets a lot of attention. But that didn't stop the quality of effort and the hard work that we put in as players and as students. And so it's good that that's being recognized. I hope that this really is the base, and we began to build on that. Going from two sports to where we used to practice at Adams High School, and we played 2 games a year at Adams High School, and then we would practice at Brown Intermediate Center. I'm not sure what South Bend Schools is using it for now, but we would play our home games there, and we would go out there and we would give our very best. And now we got the Y Camp Center, or Y Camp Hall. So we're trending in the right direction. I want to thank my mom, my dad who couldn't be here, my family, my wife, my kids. My wife and my kids, they weren't even around when I was, so they know another part of me. But my kids have heard stories, and now they get to, you guys actually, they can read the flyer and see Dad wasn't making it up. It really happened. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I think it's apropos. I just want to leave you all with a saying. that has kind of formed the ethos, shaped the ethos of my life as a player, but definitely as a person and all that I do. And it's good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and until your better is best. So thank you. Good night.
All right, our next inductee is Amy Berger. A trailblazer in IU South Bend athletics history, Amy made her mark as the first female athlete in school history to earn NAIA All-American honors, achieving this incredible distinction in women's basketball. Her dedication, skill, and leadership on the court have left an enduring legacy, inspiring future generations of student athletes at IU South Bend. Today, we celebrate her exceptional accomplishments as we welcome her into the IU South Bend Athletics Hall of Fame. Amy Berger.
Not quite so tall, but tonight I'd like to say thank you to all who made this possible. I know a lot of effort, a lot of time. I'm trying to get us all back in the same area, same room. So thank you for that. And also I'm honored to be a part of the IUSB Hall of Fame inaugural class. It's even a little more special because I get to go in with my head coach, Mary Wisniewski, which is also very deserving for her. I also want to say thank you to everyone who played a part in allowing me to achieve this award. First, the university. Not only did you give me a chance to play college basketball, but you also gave me a chance to earn my business degree, which I'm using now. So in every day I'm taking steps forward with that. So I definitely need to say thank you for that because it's also something I take a lot of pride in. I also have been a coach, so student athlete, student being first is very important to us as we are coaches. Second, I want to thank my family and my friends through the highs and the lows. Seasons are long, especially in college, so there's a lot of times that you just need someone to listen to you or just vet some things. So definitely thank all my family. My dad and my grandpa, I think, made it to every single game in college, and coming from High LaGrange area and going to Chicago, that was a big adjustment. Just we're from a one-town stoplight, so Chicago traffic and all that coming in at different times of the night definitely was a wide eye-awakening for us to see what was out there. Next, the community. South Bend community was great, and the fans. I mean, we weren't pulling in the people like Notre Dame or whatnot, but we did pull in quite a few people who did support us game to game, so that was very nice, so I want to thank them. And last, my teammates and my coaches. It takes a special team to allow a player like me to play my style of game. So for those who never had a chance to see me play, I had 3 signature moves, or shots. A step-back three-point shot, because I'm not that tall, so I had to have a way to get my shot off. The long three-point shot, which if defense played me on the three-point line, I just kept scooting back. That's where I earned my name of Downtown Burger. And the pull-up three in transition, which a lot of coaches and teammates had to learn to adjust because at times you would be looking for the layup to the basket and I'm shooting the three-point shot. So those were my 3 signature moves. So I'll just tell you a quick little story here. Many nights, actually, you could hear Coach saying, no, set something up. And by that time, I've already released. The ball is in the air. So I, especially in a transition 3, there's not a lot of time there. And Coach, probably didn't really care for that move just because there was no rebounders. But I would look at her when the shot went in and just shrug like, sorry, Coach, and she would just pretty much put her head down and keep shaking her head at me. So after a while, I think we had a pretty good relationship of kind of what was going to happen game to game. And, luckily, my teammates also were okay with me being able to play that kind of a game. So it worked out. Tonight definitely has brought back a lot of memories. Like everyone has talked about, the campus has grown. I was driving and we drove around. I think I was like, man, I don't remember that or this. So hats off to everybody who's continued to grow IUSB since we've been here. And again, just want to thank everyone who's made this a special night, not just for me, but for all the inductees. So thanks again. And then good luck to the Lady Trojans. I can see you guys all back there. Maybe I can get to a game and support you guys, but keep working hard. Listen to your coach. He's going to steer you in the right direction, and play hard every day, okay, and play for each other. Thank you.
Our next two inductees are some of the original NAI basketball coaches in school history. Mary Wisniewski, Mary's leadership and dedication have left an enduring legacy at IU South Bend, where she helped shape the foundation of women's athletics. As one of the first NAI women's basketball coaches in school history, her pioneering efforts extended beyond wins and losses, where she won 5 postseason championships and 2 regular season championships. Fostering a culture of excellence and empowerment for her players, she led her teams, as I mentioned, to 5 postseason, I'm messing up, 5 NAI national tournament berths, which even today is the most of any coach in school history. Her influence can still be felt across the institution and in the broader community, where she has continued to impact young athletes and students alike. Today, we proudly recognize her significant contributions to IU South Bend athletics with her induction into the Hall of Fame. Mary Wisniewski.
Okay, I don't have anything, because I would have been up here if I had a whole bunch, a long time. First of all, I would like to thank Coach Cooper, Coach Bruce for putting this all together. It's a great honor. I would also like to thank, or to congratulate all the other inductees. Coach Jones, he is the first one who hired me. And it came because I was in his graduate class with a bunch of friends of mine. I don't know if you remember that. And then after the graduate class, he gives me a call. I'm coaching out of Clay High School. And he gives me a call and he goes, "Hey, a job's open. You want to come and interview for it?" Sure. What, tell me a little bit about it. No, just come and interview. Just come and interview. So I did. And I want to thank Coach Martin, who's my assistant coach, who at that time was a player, and she interviewed me. Players interviewed, and then I went in front of everybody else, and they interviewed me. And it's kind of funny because one of the questions Coach Martin said is, that she knows, "Coach, you going to make us run?" And I'm thinking, okay, is this a setup question? What? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to make you run. And I had him at the track. She was looking for the ambulance all the time. I mean, but it worked. And I asked her, after a while, after a couple years afterwards, I asked her why. And she goes, "Because we didn't run before. We didn't run. We didn't run when we were a club team. We didn't run." I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Okay? So thank you, Coach Jones, for making that call. Thank you, Coach Martin, for being by my side all this time. We are best friends to this day. We're neighbors. So we're inseparable, I think. To T doesn't remember, but he used to help us. Like when we made it to nationals, the guys would come out and they would scrimmage against us before we went to nationals to kind of give us somebody against height. He'd swat everybody's shot away, but it's okay. But thank you for doing that and helping us out. Very young, nice young man. I always remember that about you. You're always so polite, so helpful. Congratulations on your honor. Amy, if you know Caitlin Clark, Amy was the Caitlin Clark of that era. And I'm being totally serious. I am totally serious. She would pull up from anywhere. Logo threes, Amy did it. National tournament against the #1 team in the nation. Amy came down and there's nobody around, and Amy's like, she just pulls up, and we're talking logo 3, and she made it. And I think we tied the game or whatever against the #1 team, against Southern Nazarene, and the other coaches are kind of looking, like they're looking at her, and I'm just like, keep shooting. Just keep shooting. I mean, we gave them a run for their money. I mean, they didn't know what hit them, okay? But congratulations on your honor. Thank you to the rest of some of my players that showed up, Billy, Jamie, okay, Melanie, okay. I think it's great that you guys are here. Again, just some of the players that were so instrumental in why I'm here, okay. I had some great teams, great young ladies. And to this day, I probably keep track and on Facebook, and I know exactly what's going on in their lives, their kids, what their kids' sports are. We talked, and we all want to get together, but that's what I feel like was built when they were here. We built those relationships, and now it's just great to see where they have gone in their lives. And that's the most important thing. It's not what they really did on the court. I mean, that was nice, but it's the young ladies that they turned out to be, and their families and how they're raising their kids, and that's what makes me the most proud. They got an education from here, and now they're doing something with that education, and now their kids. I love to see a lot of my players, kids, playing sports, doing things. They're coaching their kids. That's the main thing. That's what I love to see. I thank my brother for coming from New York for this. That was very special for me. But again, to all the parents that came out and supported us day in, day out. Again, the Bonners, just like Amy's parents, they were there. Some of these parents were at every single game, no matter where we went. Ohio, down to Tennessee, they were there, supporting us, yelling at referees, whatever it may be. Okay, they were there, and we had we didn't have a lot of fans at times, but we had the main fans. That was good. They were there to support their kids and to watch them grow through those 4 years, 2 years, whatever it may be. It was just a great experience, and I got to be close with the fans, and so did Coach Martin or our parents. It was just nice. We just built those relationships. Thank you again. Thank you for this whole honor, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
And now, last but certainly not least, all right, tonight we honor the cornerstone of IU South Bend athletics, Coach Jerry Jones, who was instrumental in shaping our men's basketball program and athletic department. As the first NAIA men's basketball coach in school history, Coach Jones guided the Titans through a transformative period, moving us into the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference and setting up numerous records along the way. His leadership and dedication helped establish a culture of excellence that continues to inspire our program today. Though retired, Coach Jones remains a steadfast supporter of IU South Bend athletics, and we are proud to welcome him into our Hall of Fame. Coach Jerry Jones.
Maybe you better hold this a little bit while I get excited. Well, I looked at that picture, showed me with that cowboy hat on. I'm the 2016 champion cowboy poet in Kansas. And I'm just an old coach, that's all I am. I'm 86 years old. No one gives a damn. Yeah. Being chosen for this honor is one of my life's greatest moments. Mary is younger than I am, and my memory of her hire is a lot different than that. We had the opening, and I went in and told the athletic committee who wanted to hire her. They said she's got an interview. I don't think anybody else did. She came in for the interview, but we already knew we were going to hire her. That's the way it was then, because there was no doubt in that leadership class she was in, she was the class of the class, I'll tell you. Well, as I said, I'm 86, and I don't get a chance to get in the microphone probably ever again, so a couple things I want to do. I'd like to introduce my wife, Dr. Kathleen Barrett Jones. She was the former associate superintendent of schools for South Bend, Fort Wayne, and was located at Marion High School. And when we left, they didn't care. But when she left, the city of Mishawaka gave her the key to the city. Now, my daughter, Jessica Jones, is a graduate of Marion High School. Sometimes there is bent genes. She worked for Tommy Bahama as a fashion designer for 12, 15 years, something like that. And when she got to be 30, when they say is old in the fashion world, she went to New York City, and she is the co-founder of the New York City Fashion Jewelry Week, a big event. Hellish bigger than Vermilion. Well, I remember coming here. I'd been up here for a conference at Notre Dame, played golf here, flowers everywhere, sunshine, green grass, trees. I live in Kansas. I told my wife, if we ever get a chance to come up here for a job opening, we're coming. I'll apply for it. Well, a few years later, I saw this ad in the paper, and I applied, and Dr. James then was the dean. He called up and asked if I would come for an interview, and I thought it was somebody kidding me. And I asked Kathy, and says, what do you think? And she says, oh, we've been here 7 years, sure. So I came up for the interview. Now, Coach Homer Drew is one of the finest coaches in America, and he and his sons both are, and was. Well, Homer Drew was the chosen one instead of old Jones. So I went back home, and that year Homer answered the call to go to Valparaiso. And I received another call from Dr. James. And he said, Coach Jones, would you like to come up here for an interview again? And I said, no, but I'll take the job if you're offering it to me. And he called back about 2 hours later and said, can you be here for a press conference Saturday? You're darn right. And I got up here for the press conference, and one of the first things that they asked me, they says, how long will it take you to be competitive with Bethel? I didn't know anything about Bethel. I didn't know anything about anything up here except I knew that Indiana South Bend was interviewing me, and I knew where Notre Dame was. And I said, well, I didn't come up here to lose. I think we'll be competitive right away. And she laughed. And she said, don't you know that IUSB has never beaten Bethel, and you've lost 22 games in a row? Well, my coaching made it 23 and 24. But then we played them in the first round of the playoffs. Got them. I was so excited. I lived out on Orange Road. Sun come up, I drove into South Bend to get the South Bend Tribune because I wanted to see what the big story was after beating a team that had beat us 24 straight times. And the story was, Notre Dame's prize recruited kicker has chosen Florida State. No mention of us whatsoever in the whole Sunday paper, and I looked at every inch of it. Well, that's the way it was. Well, one of the other highlights was we went over to Bethel, and we won back-to-back championships of their classic. And local boy Charlie Winger, just my kind of guy, as he's making the free throws, when they're fouling him, he'd look over the Bethel crowd and go, and then he'd look over at me and go, boy, I love that. I love that. And then the next highlight, I reckon, was Coach Cooper getting a reunion together last year of the IUSB Jones boys. A couple of them are here tonight, Rusty Stitt, and Craig Blasco, and Craig's son is playing for Coach Cooper now. It wasn't that long ago, damn it. And Marty Lukaszewski was probably the spirit of our team. There was so much to do, and I didn't have time to do it, and besides not knowing what to do, and Marty stepped right in as sports information director. We had a nice little program. He wrote a 4-page insert for that every home game. Terrific. Now, things aren't always as good here. You don't know how bad they were. The first Christmas tournament, I go over there to where we're playing at St. Mary's. It's snowing a little bit. We're playing a team from South Dakota, and the door's locked. Door's locked. I had to call the police, who found somebody to come out and unlock the door, and I go in, and there's no one there to run the gate or the concessions or the table. And Gene Love was the dean of students at that time, and he showed up. We had, like Mary said, we had a core of fans that would show up, and I said, "What's going on here?" And he says, "Well, Jerry, this is a union community, and if they aren't coming, they don't have to come." And then Marty took over that. From then on, we never had anyone not show up. He took care of getting things going there. And now look at what we've got with Coach Cooper. What a great place this is now. I think IUSB, and especially Coach Cooper, no longer interim athletic director, but executive athletic director, for such his honor as being in this inaugural Hall of Fame class, along with the finest hire of 42 years in the business, Mary. Thank you so much for all the showing up, and thank you so much. A woman chancellor here, which I love to see, because I grew up in those days when it wasn't allowed. And thank you, Coach Cooper, and thank you all. Oh, Coach Jones.
What an evening! What an evening. Let's give our honorees one more round of applause. You know, I say all the time, a university, you might recognize it by the buildings or the location or the place, but what makes a university so special is the people. And we just heard some great stories about some of the foundational people that are at the base of what we're doing today. And I think I'm glad some of our student athletes are here to hear it, others in the university community, because I don't think also we take enough time to celebrate things. And so tonight is really just one of those amazing nights where we get to hear some stories about the start of things, some amazing players, coaches, see where they are, and to celebrate that, them, and our current programs. And so it is my honor now to give our closing award, and that is the Bruce Family Legacy Award. So the Bruce family's impact on IU South Bend's athletic department has been profound. Thanks to the tireless dedication of Dale and Marilyn Bruce and their son, Steve Bruce, head coach of our women's basketball team and former athletic director. The Bruce family's legacy is built on compassion, humility, and decades of support for student athletes, with nearly 20 years of continuous service to Indiana University South Bend. Their influence is honored tonight through the establishment of the Bruce Family Legacy Award. Though Dale is no longer with us, Marilyn Bruce continues this legacy of giving, providing vital support to IU South Bend's athletic programs. Together, the Bruce family has made an indelible mark, reinforcing the importance of excellence on and off the court. Their generosity and commitment ensure that so many of our former and current student athletes not only thrive athletically, but also excel academically, preparing them for success in life beyond sports. The Bruces exemplify what it means to serve others and uplift the entire community through their ongoing contributions. So please join me in welcoming Steve Bruce to the stage to accept this award.
Okay. I'm usually, well, first of all, honored to be just connected with this group at all. What a wonderful group of inductees and so well deserving. I'd like to give a shout out to my girls back there. They're all here today. I didn't know they were coming, and they all showed up after scrimmage today, and it means a lot to me, for sure. I'm usually the one giving out the awards, so this is kind of new to me to be up here accepting, but I'll try to do a good job. I grew up in a family, grew up in a home of everywhere I turned was love and kindness and caring and humility and generosity and truth. And my mom and dad were the perfect role models for my sisters and myself. A little bit about my dad. My dad passed on in 2010. My dad was in his high school Hall of Fame at Amherst High School near Cleveland. He was in his college football Hall of Fame at Ohio Wesleyan University. He was drafted by the Green Bay Packers in 1952. He was a small college All-American football player. He had a 2-year stint coaching basketball at Chagrin Falls High School, which is something he wished he never gotten out of, but he did. He spent most of his career then as the Director of Public Affairs for General Services Administration in the Washington, D.C. area. I can remember watching him on TV, CNN's interviewing him, asking him hard questions about things that he has to have politically correct answers about, and I was always amazed at how he could just always say the right thing, you know. And actually at this time, there's the annual Dale Bruce Scholar Athlete Banquet at Ohio Wesleyan University. My mom, probably the real hero in our family. My sister Julie was born with Down syndrome. And for those of you that know anything about Down syndrome, kids, oftentimes they have congenital heart problems. My sister Julie had a hole in every chamber of her heart and wasn't supposed to live very long. For the first 3 years of her life, my mom, every 8 hours, had to give her serotonin through a syringe, 2, 3, 4 cc's, I'm not sure if I remember. That's every 8 hours for 3 years. That's not for the week. And then take the weekends off. That's every 8 hours for 3 years. So my mom and dad were heroes to a lot of people, myself and my sister included. And I always feel like if I could be just 10% of what they are, what they were, I'd be doing pretty good. And I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working at it. Of all the things that they influenced me strongestly, I would say, strongestly, I'm not sure that's a word, but you understand what I mean. Probably this, to try to make a positive difference in the lives of the people that you cross paths with. And they didn't preach about it. There was no auditory talking and do this and you should do this and we recommend you do this. Their preaching was their walking around, which is the strongest form of leadership. And my parents retired down to South Carolina, and I'd go down and see them twice a year, every Christmas certainly, then probably in the summertime. And I can remember going down there one Christmas, 2010, my mom says, "Hey, on the table over there, there's a card. I think you should look at it. You might like to see it." I opened the card. It says, "Dear Dale, thank you for helping me become the person that I am." And it was signed by a guy named Ken Lauderer, who was a senior on the second year that my dad coached basketball at Chagrin Falls High School in 1955, 1956. So I'm not very good in math, but I figured that out, that's 54 years from the time that I was there and saw the card to the time that he was a senior in high school. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. That's what coaching's all about. That's what touching lives is all about. Now, on my Christmas vacations, my mother, I remember these things, she would always put a bottle of wine, a card, a $20 bill in the card, and tape it to the front door for the UPS driver. And then while I was there, she'd say, hey, I got these Cheryl's cookies from QVC, because she loved QVC, okay? Take these down to the fire station for me and, let the guys down there have that. And then she'd get Christmas cookies and she'd get candy and she'd send me to mailboxes, etc. Because there were two ladies there that owned the mailboxes, etc. that she went to a lot. And she's 91 years old now at assisted living in Lafayette, Colorado. And there's a guy down the hall named Ron, and Ron's wife lives there as well, but his wife has got dementia. So she's on another floor, memory care. And every day, my mom wheels herself down in front of Ron's door and puts a Reese's peanut butter cup on the floor for him to take up to his wife when he visits with her. And my mom and dad just did that so well, and my sister Lori, she teaches French at Colorado University. We're just trying to take the baton and run with it and try to carry it on. And we had a kid last year that graduated named Maddie Gard. Maddie left as the all-time leading scorer here at IU South Bend with 1,957 points. And I talked to her in the spring and I said, listen, I need you to make me a promise. 20 years from now, you're going to be grown up. I may or may not be here at that time. If I'm not around, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to look up at the sky and give me a wink. And that wink means that these were the 5 best years of your life, 2019 to 2024. And if I see that wink, I'll know I did my job. Now, my mom crafted this. I'll read it, and then that'll be it for me. The Bruce family has been very proud and happy to contribute to the IU South Bend athletic program over the years, allowing students through scholarships the opportunity to attend school, participate and compete in sports, creating for them a lifetime of memories through this experience, engagement, and competition. Both of our children, Lori and Steve, participated in college athletics themselves, providing them with a lifetime of memories, friendships, thereby showcasing the importance and impact that these scholarship opportunities provide to young athletes. As a team, that's my family, we are honored to be recognized as the first recipients of this award, with the hope that many others will follow in our footsteps for the future of the IU South Bend athletic generations to come. So from my mom and my dad and my sister and myself, many, many thanks. Thank you.
Congratulations again to the Bruce family and all of our inductees this evening, each of whom exemplify the core values of our Titan athletics, not just in athletics alone, but in their professionalism and in their roles of the greater community. Please join me once more in celebrating all of our inductees and award recipients this evening. And now it is my pleasure to usher us into the final programming for this evening, where we have invited one of our current student athletes to share their story and the impact IU South Bend Athletics has had on his journey. Gabe Cortez is an IU South Bend baseball player that graduated from Tinley Park High School in Illinois and went on to get his Associates of Arts degree from Prairie State College in Chicago Heights. Gabe transferred to IU South Bend in 2022. He now studies sport and exercise science and hopes to get into coaching after graduation. Please help me in welcoming Gabe to the podium.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you all tonight. I remember when Coach Boozy back there asked me to do this. For some reason I said yes. I remember thinking to myself, why did I do that? But I'm honestly very grateful for the opportunity. Just the culture that he's fostered within the baseball team has allowed me to be able to do this tonight. So, like Coach said, I transferred from Prairie State College. During my 3 years there, 3 years there actually because of COVID. During my 3 years there, it was very hard. We weren't very good, so it was very hard to be positive and kind of bring it every day. When I first committed there, I never thought that I was going to be able to play past those 3 years. Kind of just figured that was going to be it for me, and I was just going to make the most of it. Just going into college, I battled a lot of mental health issues, just lack of self-confidence, a lot of social anxiety. And that really hindered my relationships, with teammates, coaches, friends, even my own family. Due to these challenges, coming here to IU South Bend was very hard for me to do. It was very scary because it was my first time away from home. I didn't really know what to expect with the schedule, transferring from a junior college to a 4-year. Didn't know what the workload was going to be like because I'm a two-way, so that means I play the field and I pitch. And just from the teammates here that were already, engraved with the team. But from the moment I stepped on campus, I knew that this was going to be a place that I could grow as a person and as a athlete. I felt at home, and like I said, I can't thank the people here enough for that. Things haven't always been easy. My first year, this is actually a good, believe it or not, a good memory for me, but my first year, I remember coming in, playing as hard as I could, and I got the opportunity to be a starter. And for me, that was a real honor, coming onto a new team. It didn't go as I planned. I didn't play very well halfway through the year, and I wound up getting benched and transitioned into being a role player. From then on, I just kind of had to cheer on my teammates, be the best teammate that I could be. And we actually wound up, that was the year that we went to the conference championships. We wound up doing really well. And for those of you that don't know, when you do get into the conference championship, there is an active roster, and I was actually left off of the active roster. So for me, being a starter, going to role player, going to being left off the active roster was very hard for me. I was asked to be in the dugout and dress, so I was very grateful for that. And I was able to watch my teammates succeed and make a run at the conference championship. It was still a very tough pill to swallow. I talked to my dad a lot every day. So after one conversation with my dad, he kind of set me straight. And I just kind of had to swallow my pride and, like I said, just be the best teammate I could. I remember doing anything I could do. I was hitting fly balls to the outfielders before games. I was going and getting foul balls and just anything to be a part of the team. And even though we did lose that championship game, I still am never going to forget those teammates that I had, the experiences, and I will be forever grateful for the relationships that I built through all of it and all the lessons that I learned. While I still struggle with self-confidence and social anxiety from time to time, my last year and a half here at IU South Bend has had a profound impact on me. I'm now considered a leader of this year's team, not only by my teammates, but also by Coach Boozy and the coaching staff. And the 18-year-old me, if you would have told me I'd be a leader right now, wouldn't have believed you. But my parents have always been my biggest supporters, and they were actually here today for Family Day, so they were able to read this. But they've always been my biggest supporters, and without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. The support system here at IU South Bend, Coach Boozy, my coaches, my teammates, the athletic training staff, my friends that I've made in class, have helped me grow as a student, as an athlete, and as a person. Again, without the opportunity to play baseball here at IU South Bend, I really don't know what I would be doing right now. Probably a history teacher somewhere, because that's originally what I wanted to do. But this May, I will graduate with my Bachelor's of Science in Health Sciences. I do plan to focus on sports and exercise science and be a grad assistant somewhere, pursue my master's. And the end goal is to just try and give back to future student athletes, much like the athletic department here has done for me. And I know that, again, not just myself, my family is grateful for everything that the athletic department and my coaches have done for me in my time here. And I will always be grateful for the opportunity to be a Titan. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabe, for sharing your story with us. We always love hearing from our students, and it is our goal in athletics to help our students grow in and out of their individual sports. We aim to create a safe space for our athletes where they can develop into the best versions of themselves. It is up to us to support students like Gabe through IU South Bend Athletics. So thank you to everyone who has scanned the QR code on the back of your program to provide additional aid to our current and future athletic programs. We so greatly appreciate your support. Now, as we come to a close for our inaugural Athletics Hall of Fame, please indulge me in just a few quick thank yous, starting with our sponsors and event supporters. Our Crimson sponsors, Mayo Oberfeld-Lorber and Michael Kruk, and our event sponsors, Regional Radio Sports Network and Gates Automotive. We could not have held this event without the support from our community partners, so thank you very much. Additionally, I'd like to acknowledge IU South Bend's dining services for this dinner this evening and East Main Gardens Florist for the centerpieces. Please feel free to take one of those centerpieces home with you this evening too. Thank you to our student speaker, Gabe Cortez, and thank you to our keynote speaker, Paul Condry. And finally, thank you to the event planning committee, Walter Brevard, Doug Boozy, Rob DeClean, Maura Disco, Jim Pinkerton, Dana Rosas Jojo, Louis Reynolds, Callie Topolsky, Eileen Villanueva, and Corey Vitangeli. Thank you for being here this evening. And before I close here, could our inductees please stick around for a few more pictures before we get you out of here. But everyone else, have a safe and good evening this evening. And go Titans.